So Victoria, our auspicious winner of the Flic and Flow Challenge, here to tell us a little bit about what she developed or what she wanted to develop and why, and what your reasons were for coming up with the ideas that you did. Tell us a bit more.
Hi, so I work for Flagship Group, a housing association based in the east of England. We have a number of field-based staff such as housing officers, EPC surveyors and repair operatives. We cover an area the size of Wales. These staff travel out of the office, visiting customers, completing viewings and other tasks. Therefore, they don't always return to an office at the end of the day. Our company also works in an agile way, so we focus on the work we do, not when and where we do it. Also, following this crisis, we might have reduced use of the offices going forward. So the primary focus for the button would be to ensure the safety and well-being of our staff. And I thought this would also be a great method to help automate some potentially manual steps such as check-ins with managers. And it would also complement our current methods of keeping our staff safe. So the idea would be for the housing officers or any staff to have their own button. Flic button. This would be registered to them in a database, for example, SQL or SharePoint. They would then use the Flic button, to check in. At the press of a button, an automated flow could then be run, which would either timestamp their entry or could simply complete the field as safe against their user. At a scheduled time set by the business, you could run a scheduled flow, and this could check and pull back any users that haven't checked in. Following this, you could generate an email to either the call centre, who operate 24 hours, or some other member of staff, and it would then be their responsibility to call the staff and just check that they're okay. The primary reason, as I said, is to ensure the safety and well-being of our staff, but we could be adapted to check it do in and out, so we can monitor the number of visits, but we could also adapt it to use staff's working hours, so to check if they haven't checked in, say 30 minutes after the end of their shift, and that could also be using a scheduled flow. You could also use other features of the Flic button, such as send location and distress signals, if they were to click the button a certain number of times.
That makes complete sense, because obviously it might accidentally get clicked a single time in a bag or whatever, but like a triple click.
Yep.
Or a click and hold for an emergency, that seems like a really great idea. So this seems like you've really thought through from a technical perspective and also from a people perspective how to make that work, but you've yet to actually develop it because of COVID, which is a bit of an irony. Tell us about that.
So I think this challenge was set just a couple of weeks before I went to New Zealand, but the idea stuck in my head. I think one is currently sitting in the office but can't get there. I have managed to do some sampling with some flows using just a trigger button just to see how it would work with the get items using a SharePoint and stuff like that. So it would get items where the check-in date is blank or is less than today and stuff like that. So it does look like it could be used.
That's excellent. How are you currently logging this data? Is this a manual process with like logging in or filling in an Excel timesheet, etc.?
So some of the teams email the housing manager to say that they've checked in and say that they're safe. There's also other methods that people use with buddy systems, but at the minute there's some emails saying I'm safe, and that's all it's saying.
Oh, so largely ad hoc and a bit kind of all over the place. So you're standardising essentially for the organisation. Yeah. So about you then, I mean, how as an organisation are you a hardcore developer, or what's your role?
So I'm a business intelligence developer. My background is kind of measures and stuff like that. But sometimes we get users come to us and say, I need to measure this or show this, and it's, well, where's that information recorded? So that's how we then have started using SharePoint, Power Apps and Power Automate. And I've just absolutely fallen in love with it and just love how it all connects together.
So would you consider yourself a citizen developer?
I think so, yeah. I've been to the Power Platform talk in London in August and went to a lot of the citizen developer talks. I was like, that sounds like me.
Self-identified, love it. And also kind of how we met and how it came about that you got involved in the challenge. So do you want to tell us a bit about why you came along and what you came along to?
Yeah, so I think following the tour in London, they were highlighted that there could be user groups. So I searched for the nearest one and your one came up. So I think it was a couple of days before one of the events and I got the team together and I was like, who wants to go? And we've gone, and it's just, I think the first one we were talking about components in Power Apps and immediately went and started building them and using those the next day. So it's just fantastic to meet with other people and see how others are using it.
I think certainly for the Cambridge Power Apps group, we have a great networking piece afterwards, don't we, where people are really sharing their experiences.
Yeah.
And we try to get people from the community up on stage, which we've tried with you, to come and share that with the group. So from your point of view, what makes the user group kind of worth attending? Is it that linking to other people?
Definitely, yeah, and seeing how other businesses and different areas are using it. 'Cause as I said, we're a housing association, but it's good to see how other businesses are using stuff as well, and just getting the knowledge from everyone because it moves so fast paced and you sometimes miss out on things. So it's great to catch up with everybody.
It definitely is. And certainly for this time, I don't know if you've seen the announcement of who's coming this time, but we have Chuck Sterling coming along to do a bit on the virtual assistant, which should be fantastic. So again, that's another one that's kind of flowering and evolving. We want to bring that into the group quite early. But we're always looking for new speakers and new ideas of content that people are looking to hear. So if any of your team do come up with some ideas, do let us know. But yeah, I mean, this has been great to talk to you, and thank you very much, and congratulations for winning the challenge. We had several entries, and yours seemed to be, to us, the most well considered and also really relevant to where we're currently at, certainly with the crisis that we're currently facing, and that ability to, it seems like such a simple thing, but to say I'm safe, and for people to have heard that and noted that, it's fundamental to some of the organisations that you're working with, and it relates really well to other people that were in the group. We've got some mental healthcare professionals and some other applications of the same theory could really work well across other areas, which is why we chose you to be our winner. So congratulations on that, and thank you for taking part in this.
Thank you.